let me introduce to you my boss, our state attorney, who is a wonderful, wonderful leader of this office, and our 1,200 plus employees, none other than Catherine Fernandez Rundle.
Wow, oh my goodness. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you so much. Wow, you see why I keep Mr. Horn around, right? He says wonderful things about me. Welcome, everybody. I want you to know that you're excited, family's excited, and the new lawyers are excited. But I have to tell you, we're excited too. So all your guests here today, and those of us in the office and the leadership roles, this is like one of our favorite days, is to just welcome you into this probably one of the most noble public service jobs you could ever have. So I'm just so excited that everybody's here. And, you know, it's not just important for you individually, although it is, right? And for your families that have just supported you all these years. But it's also very important to our community as a whole, and to a great deal of our stakeholders that work with us day in and day out. And we have a number of folks that I want to introduce you to in case you don't know them, but they are our partners in the Ministry of Justice, as Mr. Horn said. And I want to start with some of the members of our leadership in the office. I see Marie Mato. I think Stephanie Silver was already introduced, Christina Mills. Do you pay them a lot of money to do all that copying for you? That was great. And who else is here from the office? We just go like this so we can see you. Okay, great. I want to thank you, because we could not do it without your leadership. And then we have some other very, very special guests. We have our United States District Court Judge, Beth Bloom. Beth, Judge, she will be addressing you in just a few minutes, but I want you to know that she was a former county court and circuit court judge right here at the state level in Miami. And even though she's now in the federal courts, she always makes it a point to be here. She's so devoted to you and to this office and this community and the process and what you stand for, that she always comes back to swear in our new prosecutors. We're so grateful to you. Thank you. And then a very important person in the whole system is the administrative judge of our criminal courts, Judge Nushin Saifi. Nushin, you know, Judge Saifi, you might thought had been a former prosecutor. She was not. She missed out. But she was a dynamite.
I did try.
Oh, you did? Who turned you down?
Jackie Scola.
Oh, we're being taped. Well, that was definitely our mistake. We make mistakes now and again. But she has been a very successful public defender in both the Tallahassee, which is the Leon County area, and in Miami. And I have to tell you, she is one of the greatest partners, because what she does is so essential to all of the creative, innovative programs that we have in this community. You know, it's one thing for our office to have a good idea, to come up with an innovation, but without the courts, without their support, and embracing those innovative ideas, it just wouldn't happen. So it's really wonderful that you're always by our side, creating new ways to do justice in our community. Thank you. Then we also have a very special person to our office, and that is the administrative judge for the criminal division of our county courts, Judge Sam Sloan. And actually, you are going to begin your journey where he once did, and then he was once the chief of that division, the county court division, for those of you who don't know. And that's where you're beginning your journey. That's where he began his journey. And later he went on to become my chief of staff for many years, until he said, you know, I really want to continue my public service on the bench. And he later then was elected to the county court, and he's been there for 21 years. And he taught me something I did not know. I don't know if you know this, Mr. Horn. The Chief Justice Labarga of the Florida Supreme Court has I guess a rule, written or otherwise, that you have to wear black when you're in the courtroom. But if you're going to do something sort of ceremonial, you get to be a real standout in this color. There have been a number of other innovations that I want to just mention while we're talking about how the courts are our partner. I don't know if Carlos Martinez is here, but he also is a very good partner of ours in trying to do different things. And when you look around our office, I want you to know something that Don said is very, very true. We travel all over the country. We recruit in different areas. We're parts of different boards. We're parts of different professional associations. And honestly, I say this with some humility, but also some pride, that our office is really recognized around the country as an office of cutting-edge innovations. And they come here, professionals from all over the country, the National District Attorneys Association, the Association of Prosecutors, the Prosecutors Against Gun Violence, which is primarily myself, the DAs from Manhattan, Brooklyn, LA, Las Vegas, and John Jay College. I don't know if any of you have heard about John Jay College. Is one of our outstanding institutions in this country that deals with criminal justice reforms. They're advocates. And actually, they've all of those different groups have taken various parts of our programs and implemented them, which of course they always say, imitation is one of the finest forms of a compliment. So just to name a few, we have our Justice Project, our Second Chance Program, which deals with sealing and expungement of criminal records. We have our specialty divisions in courts. We have multiple layers of diversion programs, including pre-arrest diversion from the criminal justice system for very low-level drug cases. And then, of course, there's our very well-known civil citation program that we created back in 2007, starting with juveniles, and of course that's since been expanded. So those are just some of the things that we do together as courts and ministers of justice, and some of the takeaways that you can be proud of that this office is involved in. The other area that we should be very proud of is our local law enforcement agencies, along with our federal local law enforcement agencies. When you travel around the country, I would challenge you to find any other community that works so cohesively together as we do here. And we have a couple of those representatives here, and I'd like to recognize them for the work that they do every day, protecting our community and helping us administer justice. We'll start with Troy Walker. Troy, if you just stand up or so people can see you. Troy is our special agent in charge of the Miami Regional Field Office of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. We also have Chief Dan Oates, the Chief of the Police for Miami Beach. We have Ed Hudak, who is the Chief of the Coral Gables Police Department, a good friend. And we have the Executive Officer for the City of Miami Police Department, Sergio Diaz. Thank you, Sergio. And also we have Assistant Chief Cruz from the Miami Police Department. You know, just as an aside to show you an example of how creative we can be together, as I was introducing Ed Hudak, I'm reminded that the seed for the Veterans Court actually came from you. Many years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago, he brought a young veteran into my office and said, can't we do something for veterans that are suffering from PTSD or coming back to our community and getting arrested? There's got to be a better way, and of course we've created that. And it did, it started with you, Ed. So I also want to welcome all of you to this profession, as Mr. Horn did. He told you, and it is true, that this is probably one of the most important and noble of all professions in modern America. You will find that the practice of law as a prosecutor is one of the most rewarding occupations in the law and in public service. And then once it gets into your blood, which some of you know from your internships, you got the bug, and you just can't get rid of it. And it gets in your body and in your soul. And some of you actually come from families that know this firsthand. So for instance, we have Stephanie Herbello's father, who is the chief of police for the town of Golden Beach. Raul, are you here? Okay. We have Amber Dawson. I know that you're here. The uncle is the city attorney for Opelika, and we walked together. You're part of her family as well. And we have Catherine Della Fera's father, who's a criminal defense lawyer. It's okay. It's okay. We're equal justice for everybody. And we also have a very special family that has supported this office for as long as I can remember. And that's the Hippolito family. They go to our parades, they clap, they support us. And now they have a daughter that's joining us in our new class. Congratulations, Mom and Dad. Now, I mentioned the internships, and the reason I mentioned that is because I understand from Natalie Moore, who does an outstanding job, all right? She's one of the best in the country. Thank you, Natalie. That about 60% of you, and if were formerly interns in this office, raise your right hand so everyone can see how many of you. Look at that, right? And what's so good about that is you came in with your eyes open, okay, right? And the fundamental thing is that each one of these young folks, they know our fundamental values. They know our credos. Prosecutors, as Mr. Horn said, are the ministers of justice. We're kind of the gatekeepers in who gets into the system and who gets out of the system and how. And as he said, is our major role is to find the truth, to seek a just result. We have to protect the innocent just as we've got to convict the guilty. And in doing that, we need to listen to everybody that comes to the courtroom. We have to listen to the information that moms and dads and pastors and teachers, coaches might have about the defendant or another witness that's in a case. You have to really understand our role to understand we must do that. It is core to who we are. We also represent, if you look around this room, the diversity. Diversity is what makes our office strong. Diversity, cultural sensitivity, and equality are all part of our core mission. Did you know that represented in this room, I know some of the family members don't know this, but we have people that speak Spanish, Farsi, Russian, Creole, I believe I heard a little German also. And so just from that perspective, we represent the diversity of the whole community. I was told, and I don't know, maybe the judges could tell me better, but I was told that there are practically over 100 foreign languages spoken within our court system. That is an incredible diversity that our community is blessed with. Another thing, if you ever ask a former prosecutor who might be a judge today, they might be a criminal defense attorney today, they might be managing a large law firm like Mr. Horn did once, they'll tell you, I have no doubt about this, that one of the best experiences they ever had as a lawyer was being a prosecutor. And some of the moments that stand out in their career and their journey through the law has been as a prosecutor. And someone was telling me that you all hear all the time in the courtroom and talking to people, that's the best job you'll ever have. And the reason I say that is because it's true. This is the best job you will ever have. I promise you. And you will learn a great deal as you go through this. You'll learn that making mistakes is understandable. Do it in the beginning when it doesn't matter too much, right? But you'll learn from those mistakes. And the courts are here, the criminal defense bar to some extent, all the prosecutors, all the staff, the wonderful support staff in our office, everyone is there to help you. You've already met many of our senior trial lawyers who are just incredible trial lawyers in this country. You've met 4 of them. You've met 10 of our division chiefs. You've met all of our chief assistants. And I just want to tell you real quickly about Mr. Horn. Mr. Horn was in this office, tried a very major case right in this courtroom. Everyone was spellbound. It was televised nationally. He won the case. He then, when everyone saw how great he was pulled into private practice. And then I chased him. I told him this. He's the only man I ever chased in my life. And I chased him for 8 years to come back home to the state attorney's office, and he did. And he's just a tremendous asset. I wanted you to know that because if you Google him, you'll find what a treat it is for him to be in charge of all of you and to be part of our office. I'm so proud of you, Don. Thank you. We also have, you've heard from our Chief Judge Soto, who is an incredible woman and an incredible jurist. I might also add, she's a former ASA, Assistant State Attorney in this office. I might also add that she was my mentee, but I can't take any credit for it because she was always a superstar, and really she had such wonderful parents, and she always credits them. You have also heard from oops, sorry about that, bad girl, look at that. Sorry about that. You've heard from also some of our county court judges. You've been to the medical examiner's office. You've been to our jail, which is good to get a flavor of what the decisions that you make on who goes where. You need to know and feel that so that it will help you in your decision and your discretion on how you think someone should go through the process. You also know that you spent 6 full weeks, family members, 6 full weeks in one of the largest, most intense prosecutorial training programs in the country. I will tell you this hands down, and those of you that travel with us and do some interviewing, clinical directors in our law schools, law professors, law students, as Mr. Horn referred to, when they interview you, one of the things they say is, I want to go to your office because you have one of the best training programs anywhere in America. And so we really need to feel, I know it was intense, you're dying to get to court, but you just had a gift to you. And I hope that it was helpful to you as you travel through the criminal justice system. And one of the things at that core that you learned is how to be an effective, caring, and ethical prosecutor. And again, Natalie, you've done a great job. I hope that you will retain some of these core principles as you leave our office, and not before your 3 years are up, of course, but as you go on in your legal career. And that is just to remember justice is something that you do for people. It's not something you do to people. And I want to thank you for becoming truth seekers, for becoming advocates for public safety. You are going to be the advocate who seeks honesty from government. You're going to be the advocate for those seeking refuge from those who may have suffered governmental abuse. You're going to be the advocate for those who have been victimized by human traffickers, sexual predators. You're becoming the true defenders of the public. You will be the most important voice for those who have been victims of crimes, the voiceless, the vulnerable, the powerless, and that's what you will do as a prosecutor. And before I close, I want to turn to all the family members. I want to thank you for supporting these mostly very young people. Actually, Judge Safey said something like this. She said, look at these people, they're so young. But you are a big part of why this office succeeds. And all that you did in supporting your loved one, friend, spouse, whoever it may be in your family, is why they're here today, why they're able to walk away from high salaries, why they're going to sacrifice incredibly, whether it's trying to find rent or get a new car or pay their bills. The state legislature provides us with approximately $40,000 as a starting salary. Imagine with student loans and trying to live in Miami-Dade County on that. So you have been supporting them and encouraging them to seek what they feel best about, to do what they want to do, and to go into public service, even if it's at a great sacrifice to them and to you as family members. So thank you, thank you, thank you for producing and supporting this wonderful group of young lawyers. And in the end, I want to thank all of you. I know how hard you're going to work. I know how proud you're going to make this office. I know all the people in the public and in the community that come here, they're going to come to you, that you're going to do so with open arms, with grace, intelligence, and caring, and remember, compassion. So thank you so much for choosing prosecution, for choosing public service, and for choosing our office. Congratulations to all of you.